I'd like to talk about a client who recently was awarded Magnet with Distinction. They're a large facility, just under 1,000 licensed beds with over 1.5 million ER visits annually in an urban area in the southern region of the United States. This client was a pathway designated facility that wanted to take the Magnet journey back in 2018 and engaged with HealthLinx. The pandemic threw a wrench in their Magnet journey, and they put that journey on pause. During that time, they chose to redesignate as a pathway facility, and then after the pandemic, re-engaged in the Magnet journey.
I had the pleasure of working with them this entire time, both before when they were on the pathway journey and before they paused for the pandemic. What I'll say about the pause with this particular organization was, even though there was sort of a pause, there was still a passion and a drive by the organization to continue the work, to make whatever things they could do, they did do. Where we really had to work very closely was that they did end up having to transition from an old manual to a new manual. And I do think that when you have your mindset of what the requirements are in one and you have to transition to another, I think that's where the partnership, with HealthLinx was really beneficial, so that we could very smoothly transition them into the new manual. And working with them so closely, particularly around the ambulatory areas around patient satisfaction, was a struggle. It's like most organizations out there, it's a challenge, right? It's not an area where you do a lot of surveying in some of those groups, and they did a really nice job really focusing on ambulatory, helping them through with maybe improving some of their inpatient satisfaction as well, was a real drive. And then kind of culminating with their RN engagement, really maximizing that performance the best that we could through the lens of the requirements for ANCC, and their dedication is something that I'm really proud of in working with them.
So this organization received a handful of exemplars, 7 in total, from the ANCC. And among those, some of the highlights include that their BSN rate was 82%. And they also received exemplars for their interprofessional collaboration, for their burn center, also their RN turnover rate being less than 10%, and their RN satisfaction survey being greater than that 75% outperformance. Additionally, in their nurse-sensitive indicators, their ambulatory burns showed an outperformance as well.
I'm sort of depressed that they didn't get exemplars for their 100% in the inpatient patient satisfaction, because they had 3 categories that outperformed at 100%. So I'm a little frustrated about that. They staff over 4,300 nurses. That's more than double the average hospital. So to get to 75% of RN engagement is beyond phenomenal. So think about that. Greater than 75% said, this is where I want to work, and I'm engaged here, and I feel valued here, and I have good quality here. And they probably have more ambulatory areas than I think any organization that I've worked with. Pure number of ambulatory clinics, types of clinics. And so having that many and really getting them engaged and part of the process was nothing short of a miracle.